Hello everybody. So we're going to continue with chapters 10, lesson 10.6, line symmetry. And we're on page 421 of your textbook. Okay. All right, let's get started. So one type of symmetry found in geometric shapes is line symmetry. This sign in the hills above Hollywood, California. This sign is in the hills above Hollywood, California. Do any of the letters in the Hollywood sign show line symmetry? Well, what is line symmetry? A shape has line symmetry if it can be folded about a line so that its two parts match exactly. A fold line, or a line of symmetry, divides a shape into two parts that are the same size and shape. And so we can have three different types of line symmetry. We can have a vertical line, so that would go up and down to divide the shape. We could have a horizontal line that would go left or right, so we would divide it into top and bottom. Or we can have a diagonal line that can go either direction diagonally. Okay, so we're looking for three different ways of symmetry. Now, this activity calls for us to use pattern blocks and scissors. Now, before I got started with this, I took the time to cut out some letters of the Hollywood sign. And so they asked us to first make a W. Okay, and so here's the W. I used pattern blocks to make the W. Step 2, I traced the W using the pattern blocks. Step 3, I cut out the W. And then step 4, fold it along a vertical line. Well, the vertical line in this case would be right down the middle. So when you fold it, it's exactly the same on both sides. Okay, it matches up. So the line, so the letter W has line symmetry. It has vertical line symmetry. Now, would it work if I did it horizontally? We'll take your W, fold it in half, left to right, and you notice that the pieces don't line up. Okay, so there isn't horizontal line symmetry. There is vertical. And how about diagonal? So if we fold it diagonally in half, again, they don't match. So it's not diagonal line symmetry. All right, so the letter W does have line symmetry. It is vertical line symmetry, so that the left and the right hand side of the W are exactly the same. So ask yourself, would this corner match this corner if I fold it along the dashed line? That answer is yes. Okay, so let's go to page 422. So then they asking us to make the letter L. Okay, so I traced the letter L using pattern blocks. I cut out the tracing for step 3, and now it wants us to fold along this vertical line. Well, I hope that when you look at that, you say, no, there's no way that's going to be matching, right? This fold line here, there's not equal amounts on either side, so that's not. But what if I did it in the middle here? Would that be any different? No, it wouldn't be the difference because I don't have nothing up here matches, right? So when I fold it, it's not exactly the same on both sides. This part, the bottom part is, but what about the top? The whole thing has to match. Okay, so somebody might say, well, okay, what if I did right down the middle of the back of the L? All right, so let's fold it along there and see. Oh, well, this part of the L and this part of the L are exactly the same, but this part's not. Okay, so no, the L does not. So it would be no for that. How about horizontally? So let's divide it horizontally along that line. So fold it at the fold line, or what they're saying is the line of symmetry. And do they match up? No. When I fold it, this piece here is left out. So no. All right, how about diagonally? So they want us to go diagonally right through there. Well, let's fold it along that line. And again, it doesn't match. The fold doesn't match. So no. So the letter L does not have line symmetry. All right. Then it's wanted us to repeat those steps for numbers. Repeat steps 1 through 6 for remaining letters in Hollywood. Okay, so I made the letter H. I cut it out. And I need to see if it has line symmetry. Well, I'm thinking that if I divide it exactly in half right there, that when I fold it, they're going to match. And they do. So letter H has vertical symmetry. Does it have horizontal symmetry? Okay, if I fold it horizontally, it matches up. So the H has 2 lines of symmetry. How about vertically? Oh, no, it doesn't work vertically. Okay, so the H has 2 lines of symmetry. So H does have symmetry. How about the O? The O's should be fairly simple, right? Can I divide it straight down the middle? Sure. Okay. When I fold it over, it matches. How about horizontally? Yep, it works that way too. So O has 2 lines of symmetry. All right, the L we already did. It didn't have symmetry. So the HOL. How about Y? Y. Let's try to divide this Y straight down the middle vertically. So if we fold it along there, that line, does it match? Sure it does. Okay, so the Y has vertical line symmetry. And how about, well, we already know W does. The O we already did, and the D. Well, I'm thinking that if I divide this vertically, it's not going to match. Because one, this is curved and this is straight. So I don't think there's any way that can match. And it doesn't. We have this piece in here that doesn't match. And we turn this over and this edge does not match. Okay. What about horizontally? Yeah, it works horizontally, right? Okay, so D. So we have 5 letters. Do any of the letters have more than one line? The H does, the O does. They have both vertical and horizontal line symmetry. So the H was, again, straight down that way, and we could also divide it that way. The O, we can divide that way, vertically, as well as horizontally. All right, let's continue now. So 423. Now, if you get stuck and you're not sure if it has symmetry and you need to actually fold it, sometimes I actually have to fold it. Sometimes I get stuck visually seeing it. So, like this one right here, it looks like they have the same amounts on either side, right? So, not being sure, I traced the rectangle and I drew the symmetry line. And when I folded it, I noticed that the points were not in the same spot. So, this particular shape does not have diagonal line symmetry. It does have vertical line symmetry, but they're talking about this specific line. So this blue line is not a line of symmetry. If it was right down the middle this way, it would be. If it was right down the middle horizontally, it would also be. So the rectangle does have line symmetry. It has vertical and horizontal, but not diagonal. All right, how about this shape here? Now this one I could see easily that if I fold it along this line, that this point and this point are going to match up. They're exactly the same on both sides, so yes. Okay, this happy face, if you divide it exactly in the middle, the circles are going to match up, so the eyes are going to match. This half of the mouth will be on top of this mouth, and the half circles would match. So 3 does match. 4, if I fold it here, this point is going to be here. It's not going to be touching one of these other points. So that is not line. This particular line is not line symmetry. If it had gone straight down the middle vertically, it would be. So 4 is no. All right, number 5. Tell whether the line that they're using is a line of symmetry. Okay, if I take this O and fold it over that line, yes, it's going to match. 6. I don't need to fold this one because look at the gap or the difference between the amount of space. This has much more space than this side. So if I fold it, this is not going to cover this piece. So no. Same thing here. The left-hand side is smaller than the right-hand side. If they had moved the line over, I'd say yes, but it's not exactly half. So no. 8 is. You notice that it's exactly in the middle. If I fold along the line of symmetry, this point will touch this point, and this part will be on top of this part. So yeah, will match up exactly. All right, number 9. Tell if the line that they've drawn is a line of symmetry. Okay, well, first off, are both sides the same? They're not the same, right? This one goes down lower than this side, so that can't be a line of symmetry. The shapes would have to match. 10. Yeah, if I fold this down, they're going to be exactly the same. 11. 11, I feel like I can see that it's not a line of symmetry because look at this arrow and look at this arrow. You see how they're different shapes? It's not going to be the same on both sides then. So 11 is no. And how about 12? Well, 12 is kind of the example of the letter O, right? And so they're dividing it here. This half circle would be right on top of this half circle. So yes. And again, if you're having problems seeing it, trace it, cut it out, and fold it. Practice. What best describes the symmetry in the letter I? Well, if I go straight down the middle, vertically, aren't the left and the right exactly the same? They are. So it has vertical line symmetry. How about horizontally? If I divide that in half, well, this top part matches the bottom part. So it has vertical line symmetry and horizontal. All right, page 424. Number 14, I mean. Which shape has a correctly drawn line of symmetry? All right, so they give us 4 shapes. What do we need to find? We need to find which shape has line symmetry and a correctly drawn line of symmetry. All right, how can you tell if the line of symmetry is correct? Fold along if both sides match. It is a line of symmetry. Tell how you solve the problem. Okay, well, let's look at this. One way we can do it is trace all these shapes, cut them out, and then fold along the lines. I don't think that's necessary in this problem. And I'll tell you why. Because remember, it has to match on both sides. Both sides have to match when I fold. Well, there's no way that if I fold it along this line right here, that this is going to match because it's not evenly divided, first off. Okay, there's more space on this side than this side. So that can't be. This one looks great because if I fold it here, I see that they're equal amounts on both sides. This point, when I fold, will touch this point. So that's going to be a line of symmetry. This one, no, because first off, both sides don't have the same shapes on either side. Okay, this has points and this has curves. So if I fold, there's no way I'm going to get these points lining up with another point. Here on this side, again, if I fold just this piece, it's going to stop right about here. So it's not going to have, it doesn't have the same amount on either side. So I'm going to say I compared the shapes and amount on, on each side of the line of symmetry. Okay. If you cut them out, that was what you would have done. All right, so now 15. Now, when I first looked at 15, I was a little confused. But when I looked at it slightly different, I noticed that If I went that way, they'd be exactly the same. And then if I turned it another way, and I looked at it like this, I noticed that that way it would be the same. So we have two lines of symmetry in this problem, or in this shape. And number 16. Evie's birthday is on the 18th of May. Since May is the 5th month, Evie wrote the date as shown, 5/18. Evie says all the numbers she wrote have line symmetry. No, she's not correct. No. There's no way to fold All right, no, there's no way to fold the 5 in half so that the two parts match. You can't do it horizontally. This point's over here. I can't do it vertically because now I have this curved and this is going to be straight over here. Diagonally, no, because again, I'm going to have this point over here and a curve over here. So it's just not possible. All right, so that's our introduction to line symmetry. In our next lesson, we're going to continue to find and draw lines of symmetry. So until then, may the numbers always be in your favor.